Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, sha-na-na-na-na.
Hey everybody, Laura with Jot and Tittle Vintage Typewriters. Welcome to a tutorial today. So I pulled out a 1946 Smith Corona Silent and we're going to have a little chat about it, and I'm going to teach you how to use it and kind of give you my feedback on what kind of a typewriter it is. And this one is really in excellent condition. But what was I going to say? I don't remember. I just did a little bit of a typing demo, so I'm going to take that out. And we're going to start from the top in terms of showing you how to use this. Also, this is just a really terrific typewriter. If you're looking for a classic, I mean, they're all classic, but really these Smith Coronas, this body shape, the 30s, 40s, just such a beautiful machine. The Silent, you know, we get caught up in the noiseless terms and the silent terms and the super silent. No typewriter is truly silent. It's just going to be a little more muffled. This one, I'm not even sure why it gave, they call it silent. You can hear it just fine, but you will feel kind of a muffling even in your typing. And I guess it's supposed to make it just a little bit quieter. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything from back to front. So back here, you'll see tabs, and I call them tab keys. And you just pull them out like this, and you just slide it where you want it. You have different grooves. Originally, they came with 6. So you can see this one does have all 6. Now when you come across them, a lot of times they might just have 1 or 2. Some of them may be missing all of them, but originally they came with 6 tabs. All right, so also when you're ready to set your margins, you flip over this back plate and you just press and drag, and that is your margins. You also find the paper holder right there. To move your carriage, there's a little tiny silver lever on the back. It doesn't matter which one, and you just move the carriage and you can hear your bell. That bell will go off when you get close to your right margin. So that's what it's for. It's to let you know, hey, you're close to your margin. So it's going to time for you to hit your return handle. And then you're going to advance either 1 or 2 lines based on how you have your line selector. And so right now it's on 1. And then you can flip it down here and it's double line. Okay, that's your line selector. When you turn your handle, it's going to click every half of a line, but sometimes, let's say you're going to load a piece of paper like this, it's already got some type on it, and you want to line it up just right. That half click is not going to be your friend. It's going to be very frustrating to try to line it up. And so what you do is, and actually I did a really good job of unintentionally lining it up, but over here on the left side there's a little silver knob, and you just pull that out, and then you can kind of adjust exactly where you want it, re-engage it, and then you can keep on typing. Okay, that's what that is for. Let's go over to, and then here's your paper release. To adjust your paper if you want. Make sure when you put your paper in, you put it underneath the that type bar. And then you also have these little metal arms. I don't know the names. My brain is not working. I shouldn't say that. But anyway, you can put those there to kind of help keep the paper down all the way against the roller. Or for me, I'm always pulling them. I find them getting in the way, and so I always pull them to the sides, but whatever you want there. If you open up the top, you'll see your type basket area, escapement area, whatever you want to call it. Your serial numbers over here on the right. Your tension selector determines how hard your type bars are going to strike the paper. This uses a universal ribbon. You can get them on our website at jotandtittletypewriters.com. And when you change out the ribbon, make sure you thread them through all the guide wires properly. We do have an up-close photo of this area, so just go to the product listing link in the description below. Even if it's sold out, you can see the images, you can screenshot it or save the image for your reference if you want, to help you when you're loading or threading your ribbon. Remember, black on top, red on bottom, and then the ribbon comes around the top and around. Same with this way, top and around. Don't forget these guide wires right here. And then when you get to the end of the spool, it's not the end of your ink. You just reverse the direction by kind of tapping that down. That'll reverse the direction. Tap it again, reverse the direction. And so you just reverse back and forth many times before, and just use up all that ink in there. If you have your original spools or a metal spool and you want to keep them, we have the option where you can send it to us and we'll roll fresh ribbon on there for you. If you go to our website and look for custom ribbon, that is in there and it explains all that for you. Okay. And then down here, this was our ribbon reversal. We have our color selector. We've got red and the black is on the top, and then you'll see the white dot in the middle. That is a stencil mode. Most of you will never use that. And actually, if you try to type when it's in stencil mode, it's not going to type properly. So if you're typing and things get faint or they start feeling odd, there's two things to check. Always stop. First thing to do is reverse the direction of your ribbon and see if that corrects it. And then also check your color selector to make sure that didn't get bumped into the white, which is the stencil, because it'll sound like it's typing, but it's not. It won't type properly, okay? On these 1946 Smith Corona Silent, they have what's called the floating shift, which if you are used to the newer typewriters, in terms of 50s, 60s, it looks normal to you. But these older typewriters, when you would hit shift, it would like lift the whole carriage and it would be like ka-chunk, ka-chunk, and your pinky would get really tired because you're pushing down the weight of that. So the floating shift means that's just, their technological advance at the time was they switched that shift from the carriage moving to the escapement moving, or that whole typing basket would move in, so you could type your lowercase and uppercase. So you've got your shift, and then your shift lock is on the left side, and you just press it down. You'll hear it lock in. To release it, doesn't matter which one, just press it and it releases. You have your backspace. Remember, backspace does not erase. You have your tabs, and you already saw where you set your tabs. And then you have your margin release. So where do I have this? Let's move this in. So let's test. There's your bell. Oops, see, I'm like, that's not printing. Okay, let's set that again. Let's try that again. So let's test okay, now it stopped on me. So margin release, press that. Our margin, I misspelled that, release. So what do you do when you make a mistake? When you're typing, well, you can exit out, you can dash through the whole thing, you can go back and type over it if you want, but part of typing is making mistakes, and then you just keep going. All right? All right, thanks so much for watching this typewriter tutorial. Sure appreciate it. Give us a like, thumbs up, share it with others, and you all have a blessed day.